mobile payments and using a phone as a payment mechanism, so it might be there where you swipe your phone instead of a credit card. Actually, what's happening, so from a consumer perspective, I'll come to the business side of it, but from a consumer perspective, what's happening is that smartphones have developed so rapidly, and particularly driven by the launch of the iPhone, is that what's more common is people are browsing the web on their phone, or using an iPhone app, for example. So for instance, there's an Amazon iPhone app, which I've used. I just expected to look at it, I'm sat, bored somewhere with an hour to kill, oh, I'll download this. I ended up buying something because it was that simple. Recognise my account, put in my email and password, same as I do on the web, and they had a well-designed interface. Didn't have all their stock, but the most popular books, CDs, whatever. Click, it recognised it was the one-click shopping, because they'd stored my credit card details, and I made the purchase. And that's something that's growing very rapidly now, is just online shopping through mobile device. So there's still some talk of and in some other countries there's been a bit more development of use of the phone. So for instance, in Holland, 40% of online purchases are made using kind of bank transfer. So you pay direct from your bank account. So instead of a window opening, let's say with First Direct to verify your credit card, like we might see, there it will open with your bank account, your online bank, an interface to your online banking. And one of the ways they validate who you are is to send a text message, so with a one-time ID code, you enter that as part of your checkout process. So I think that in this country, there's such a high usage of Visa and MasterCard that very different kind of ways of paying are certainly not going to come to fruition anytime soon. So one thing we have been involved in is looking at, can you physically accept a credit card payment on your phone? And there you get into an area, a compliance area, so there's a distinction in terms of both the risk and therefore the cost of accepting a card payment online or over the phone from accepting a card payment face-to-face. So typically the cost of accepting a card payment face-to-face are a little bit lower because the chances of fraud is perceived as being less, because I can see you're running a higher risk if you're going to use a stolen credit card in my shop. And there are some situations where it might be quite cool to kind of, instead of having to have a separate chip and PIN terminal, to be able to just take the card payment on your iPhone, let's say. But the problem there is the PIN element. And so at the moment, the regulation, while the technology could enable it, the regulations prevent you entering, if you're stood in front of me, I can't enter all your card information directly into an iPhone. I need some kind of device to go through the chip and PIN process. So it is possible that what may be allowed is an add-on, so we can have a little device plugged in the back of a BlackBerry, an iPhone, whatever, swipe it, and then on the touch screen of the phone, enter the PIN number, so I'd hand it back to you. So that is something that you may see sort of within 12 months, and it's certainly something that's happening in the States, largely because in the States they haven't rolled out chip and PIN, so they don't have that problem. So there are some plug-in devices you can swipe, and they hand you the phone, and you sign the name of the stylus. Any other questions?
So just a quick one, I've just nipped in caught the very tail end of it. When you were saying you had the SagePay user interface, so you can track your card transactions and you can see such and such use Visa, such and such use MasterCard. Is there a facility to sort by card type, so you can perhaps target, market certain ones that aren't using? So if you can see that PayPal isn't performing as well as Visa or MasterCard, you could maybe put discounts on for people who use PayPal. Is there the ability to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we've got an upgrade release in a couple of weeks, October 9th, of our whole search and reporting area. So you can do that today, but in a couple of weeks' time, it's going to be a lot more powerful and more user-friendly. So you can categorize your transactions in all different ways. Potentially also you might want to look at transactions by area of the country, by postcode. So more and more, what we're seeing is that our more sophisticated customers, not just big customers, but it might be smaller businesses, but they're becoming more sophisticated now about online trade, and they want to take advantage more and more of the data that we've got. So either you can search within your MySagePay admin tool, or through APIs you can extract that data into your other systems. You might have a CRM system or a business intelligence reporting system where you want to suck that data in there, and that's something that's quite critical for our larger customers. Any
have a green URL bar?
Good question. So, for those who don't know, the top of your browser, so you might be using Explorer or Google Chrome, there's a bar where you enter the web address, or the URL address, www.whatever. And there's now a security certificate that you can get through companies like VeriSign, and the whole, if you've got one, then the whole bar will be shaded green. I think it's useful, again, depending on who your target customers are. I don't think there's high general awareness at the moment of what that means. So if you went ahead and paid for that and implemented that now, you'd be relatively an early adopter. So it's really about when it may make sense. I think there's a good chance that that will become best practice. So we might be presenting, the e-business benchmark survey in 2012 and saying, look, that is now driving performance. So in that formula, when I went through things like awards and certificates, that might be something that becomes more important. If today, let's say you're selling to technology, or you're in the technology industry, maybe you're selling PC parts or something, and your customers are going to be quite well informed on the internet, then that might be something you want to do sooner rather than later. Or it might be that it's not a huge cost. Again, you might be a startup going into a competitive space, and because you're a startup, you want to give that perception of being safe to deal with and establish. Does that answer your question?
Are you going to write a Sage Pay app?
For the iPhone?
So we can check balances and transactions? So we can check what's gone through our Sage Pay account?
Yeah. It's a good question. We wrote a Sage Pay app for the iPhone, but it was one to the early question to enable someone to accept a card payment using the phone, which we're not allowed to launch because of the regulations. What we haven't done yet is developed a specific app where you could simply check the your account. But I think it's certainly something that we may do. Sorry to hedge the question. But we haven't got that. Yeah?
Beginning of next calendar year, we'll be introducing things like smart payment pages, that kind of thing, that will recognise whether you're browsing on your mobile phone or whether you're browsing on a PC or whatever. And so the idea is to make sure that your My Sage Pay area is accessible or easily usable on your mobile phone. So that is something that R&D are looking into, but it's on their roadmap, so I don't know if we're going to fix dates on that.
Okay, if you do write the app, can I have a bit of commission on that?
Yeah, probably be free knowing Arcus and pay an extra for that. So we can get this just on the internet. Why should we pay for it now? Great. Well, thank you very much. Been very good audience interactive. Please don't hesitate to get in touch either today or in the future if you've got any other questions. Or I mentioned a few case studies and example success stories. If you're interested in understanding maybe other customers that we have that are more relevant to your business, we'd be very happy to help you with that and possibly even make an introduction so you can learn from their experiences. Thanks very much.